Now it's time to share the wisdom and insights of our eminent guests and have the valuable takeaways from them. It's time for panel discussion on the topic Yoga as a way of life. I'm very delighted to welcome our esteemed panelists. Our first panelist is Yogi Andre Riehl, a master of Nidra Yoga and Kashmiri Shaivism Tantra. He is a student of yoga since 1972. After some years of searching, meeting with Kashmiri Babu, an ascetic from the Shiva tradition, he underwent a retreat of deep study into the spiritual quest. Also very touched by the meetings with Jai Krishnamurti and Shri Anandamayi Ma, he studied further important aspects of the inner path related to these two great instructors, discrimination and relationship. It was the final encounter with Chandraswami as an ascetic from the Brahminic lineage of the Udaseens, which would give a full understanding of all the teachings studied before. He has been teaching Mantra Yoga, Prana Kriya and Swadhyay. He is a Nidra Yoga instructor for past 20 years across 5 continents. He is a board of member of the European Union of Yoga, founder of Nidra Consciousness and founder member of Indian Yoga Association and director of Nidra study centers across the globe. Our next panelist is Ms. Maja Milićević from Serbia. She is a teacher of Transcendental Meditation. She is the founder of Holistic Academy Maja in Belgrade, established on the unity of Eastern wisdom and Western medicine. She gained the Vedic knowledge of Ayurveda, Vastu and Yoga from one of the foremost teachers of today, Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. She is specialized in therapeutic yoga and individual training approach with Yogacharya Jadranko Meklik and successfully teaches and shares the skills in the school to many students and professional athletes. Maja studied the ideal system of exercises for the spine with Maharshi Swami Dev Murthy. Pulse diagnosis and Marma massage she learned from Dr. Ernest Krott, director of the Academy of the German Society for Ayurveda. She has developed and designed therapeutic yoga techniques and individual approach according to the individual physiology, age and health conditions. Today we also have with us Dr. Stefan Iichav, President of Bulgarian Yoga Federation. He is practicing yoga since 2003. He is graduated in the yoga course for instructors at National Sports Academy. He participates in numerous yoga workshops organized by Indian and Bulgarian yoga teachers. From 2008 to 2011, he was Vice President of BYF. He graduates medicine in 1992 and became a specialist in internal medicine. Work at the University Hospital, Pleven. His interest is in the field of yoga therapy and homeopathy. Welcome our next panelist, Professor Amandio Figueiredo from Brazil. In cities, he started practicing yoga. He is founder of several associations of yoga and other asanas. He is a founding member of several Ayurvedic institutions in Portugal. In 2003, he got training in Ayurveda under the guidance of Dr. Jose Riehl. He participates in the preparation of meetings of the EUAA in Germany, being the founding member. He exercises the clinical practices of Ayurveda in various centers. Today's panel discussion will be moderated by Dr. Vikram Singh Tobar, convener United Consciousness. Dr. Tobar is an acknowledged trainer, academician, scholar, writer, and a management consultant. He's a freelance trainer and served the cabinet ministers of state, MLAs, police officers, and tycoons of the business world. His aim and objective is universal brotherhood and happiness through harmonizing the knowledge from the ancient scriptures into our lives. So I welcome all our guests for panel discussion.
Namaste. Namaste.
Namaste.
I welcome on behalf of United Consciousness all the participants who are here as guest experts. I also welcome all the viewers who are watching us from 56 countries across the globe. So, dear friends, a beautiful topic we have for discussion today: yoga as a way of life. We acknowledge presence of Dr. Amandio ji. We acknowledge presence of respected Andre Riehl ji. We acknowledge presence of Dr. Stefan. We acknowledge presence of Ms. Maja in this panel discussion. So the topic of our discussion today is yoga as a way of life. It reminds me of a question in Bhagavad Gita, which Arjuna asked Lord Krishna, that, "Oh Krishna, how does a yogi behaves? How to understand that a person is yogi? How does a yogi lives his life?" So the first and very simple question to ignite the discussion is, because people across the globe, there are many people who are not practicing yoga. So a simple question comes to their mind is, who is a yogi? How does a yogi lives his life? How to identify what are the features in anybody's personality that will help us to understand, okay, this person is yogi. So it's a very simple, but it's an elementary question for everybody who are not exposed to yoga. How does a yogi lives life? So, interesting question. Whosoever would like to answer first, they can begin. How does a yogi lives life? Does it mean that he leave the society and go to the woods? What does that mean? How does a yogi lives life? So let me begin with Dr. Stefan. Yes, Dr. Stephen. What do you think?
Okay, thank you. I think that the real yogi doesn't differ from anybody around him. He leads very simple life, and he doesn't. He's not an obstacle in front of others. Everybody around the real yogi is a mirror in which he can see himself, and if he has good relationships with other people and leads very simple life, I think he is the real yogi.
So Dr. Stephen said that real yogi is one who is more interested in self than he is interested in selfies. So there is no harm in taking selfies. Perfectly fine if you take selfies, but pay more attention to self also. So one who sees in the mirror and analyzes self is a real yogi. Very good. Thank you very much, Dr. Stephen. I'll come to Amandio ji. Who is a yogi? How to identify? We meet thousands of people around. How do we understand that this person is a yogi?
Namaste, all of you. Good morning or good evening as a time. Thank you for this excellent invitation, for this grateful and world initiative from the United Consciousness. Well, to be a yogi, I don't know exactly, but I agree with Stefan indeed, because we have maybe the persons in our society understand that the way that we take to live change with the ecology and change with our day-to-day life, respecting the nature. Especially, we start with that. I think that the study of karma yoga is maybe that the intervention that we can have and the responsibility that we have to in the society. As teacher of yoga and Ayurveda, and a lot of people who come to see how can yoga help people in this difficult world that you are living now, they understand the difference that we take from giving them our experience, little experience of life that we have, because yoga is so much important and large. I think that the yoga must be something that the government and the responsible people must take it very seriously to change to give the people the health way of living and understand what is physical living, mental living, spiritual living, especially. So I think that the one way that we can say and be maybe an example to the people is to give them the beautiful way of from yama niyama, all the Astanga yoga, and other reference of yoga, more profound, like the Upanishads and Bhagavad Gita, because one day I hesitated to start doing something in the federation, in European initiatives, European Yoga Federation, and with Swamiji Paramatnikam in Rishikesh. He told me, if you give up or you feel that yoga can be done, the other bad people come and do the things that they want to do. So I never stopped working and seeing and be well with yoga. Thank you.
Thank you. Beautifully, he said, Amandio ji raised some very important point. He said, yogi is one who be in the nature, swabhava, who wants to establish in his own swabhava. He does a karma yoga. He doesn't run away from the karma. He keeps on doing what is due. It reminds me of Avenger movies, and it is said, superhero is one who runs towards the problems, not away from the problems. That's amazing. Yogi is one who takes responsibility, takes charges, and follows 8 limbs of Patanjali Yoga Sutra. He also mentioned about Upanishad and Gita, and it is said that Gita shall always motivate the man of action, Upanishads, the man of thoughts. Now we'll come to Yogi Andreji. Andreji, who is the yogi? What is the yogi lifestyle?
I just dare how you can say it's a simple question. I asked you, how do you dare to put such a question? So anyway, there are a few points. I would say that we have teaching and text since millennia, and they're all talking about living a clean life. Like we're talking about the yams and niyam, like Patanjali gave 10, Jabaradarshan gave 20, and there are also texts that gives almost 200 yam and niyam. So that's one point, is to live a life as close as possible to yam and niyam. And when you look very deep into them, you don't have much choice. The main thing we have to do is going into sadhana. That's the main activity, especially when you go to the monk vows, monk yam and niyam. There's nothing else to do. Then if we don't go so far as living as a sannyasi or a monk, another point is, of course, a yogi is a student.
Mm-hmm.
That is, it's about studying from 2 sources, teaching coming from outside, teachers and gurus, and teaching coming from listening deeply within. Then the third side would be to be a servant to others.
Thank you.
Today we mix up yogis and yogacharyas. We mix up yogis and yoga teachers. So for me, there is a big difference in between these two. Yoga teacher is a job, is work. And yogi is a state of being. That might include teaching, but teaching has what the yogi teaches is the innermost spirituality. When pretty often yoga teachers are teaching technical things, technical aspects. So anyway, there are these 3 main things for me. That yogi is a student. Oh, I know you like to resume, so you'll do it.
Okay, thank you. So Andreji said that a few important points he raised. Yam niyam, and one who is a sadhaka of yam and niyam is a yogi. And then he said, who remains eternal student of life, who learns from guru and through inner listening also. As Lord Buddha said, appadipo bhava. He has the light within and he learns from self. And one who is ready, eager to serve others also. He mentioned yogi is a state of being, and yoga teacher is a profession. Thank you very much, Andrewji. Mazaji, your quick remarks on who
Don't forget serving others, please.
serving others. I mentioned it indeed. So, Mazaji, what is your quick reflection? Who is a yogi? Because world sees yoga as stretching. So we just need to make it very clear. It's not only one who stretches is a yoga sadhaka. In the behavioral aspect, who is a yogi?
I'm sorry for my connection.
No worries. Now it worries. No worries. Till she comes back, we will continue the discussion. We understood the various dimensions of yogi. Now, as our topic is yoga as a way of life. So, what happens to a yogi when situations become difficult because life never goes as you want always? So, how does Dr. Stefan, when things don't go your way, how does a yogi respond to it?
I think yogi should accept every situation, and he needs to think about it, to accept it, and to do what the situation is, not to oppose to it, and to apply the principles of yoga darshan, of yama and niyama in this situation.
Thank you very much. Beautiful 3 words he mentioned, and I loved these words, Dr. Stefan. He said acceptance. Yogi is full of acceptance, and he deliberately did not use word tolerance. He said loving, kind acceptance of what is. And he said no oppose, because whatever you resist shall persist. And third, he said that the apply those principles of yoga when situation becomes difficult, because these principles are applied to establish dharma and righteousness. So difficult situations gives you an opportunity to test the yogi within. Amandio ji, in interpersonal relationships, when people don't go along with each other, and when another person is not listening to that person, another person is not understanding that person, then how does a yogi behaves? In interpersonal relationship, how does a yogi behaves? Stefan ji told us in difficult situations, yogi behaves with acceptance, no opposition, apply the principles. In interpersonal relationships, how does a yogi behaves? You may need to unmute.
That's a good question. I think that if he has a long time to understand yoga and study yoga, I think that always we go, as Patanjali says, even when he talks about the in Sadhanapada about the Kriya Yoga, the pranayama, you always must start with yama and niyama. So we can see no violence, ahimsa. We can see satya. And in that way, we must accept the situation, and we must be the most Arjuna, maybe, in the people, with no violence, especially, and to give some support to the people, to say there are other ways in life, not the things that go bad or not bad. Because in yoga, I think that is in the middle way. If we are happy, we think that we are in yoga. If you are not, or if we are unhappy, we are not in yoga. Yoga stays in the middle. Yoga, it's always gives to the people some situation, but you have to study and have some experience to give them.
Thank you very much.
So.
Yes, thank you. Absolutely. We have got Mazaji back, so I will first ask question from her and then we'll begin before she may get technical problem again. So Mazaji, how does a yogi behave? If you can listen us. Okay, she may join us back. Few important points of ponder Amandio ji gave us, that yogi is ahimsak. He will not harm anybody by word, by speech, and even by thoughts. That's so amazing. And I always say that if you can announce your thoughts in All India Radio on national channel, then that thought is pious. But if something that you cannot announce everywhere, then the thoughts may create hinsa. And another thing he said that be centered in dukh and sukha, good and bad. So yogi is one who remains centered. If something is happening favorable, it doesn't elate him much. And if something is happening such unfavorable, it doesn't puts him down. So beautifully you said, Amandio ji. These are some methods we can identify a yogi. Andreji, you teach so many people across the globe. Thousands of people attend your classes, different parts of the world. How does a yogi behaves in professional life? If yogi is doing a business, you teach many corporates also. You teach many students who work in corporates. How should a yogi behave in professional life?
To me, this doesn't exist. There's only human beings, nothing to do with their activity, their professional activity. And what it is about is to be connected with your own lineage and to be connected with the mystery of life. So teaching is using technical means, but what is very important in the teaching is the energy that is flowing. And for this energy to flow, the yogi should forget himself or herself. It's about forgetting oneself and being kind of visited at the least by our gurus, and when it comes more mysterious, but by just the flow of life. And this is what transmission is. It is, and it goes through technical aspects, but they're important, but they're secondary.
Thank you. Thank you. Andreji again joined us with 3 important points. He said that yogi is one who connects with his own lineage, connects with self and the lineage. And as you know, Andreji, in corporates nowadays, people really have a problem of FOMO, fear of missing out. So here Andreji is saying that yogi connects with self and his lineage. He never feels FOMO, that I'm being missed out, others are having fun, I'm alone. So he does not have, or she does not have such problems. And then he says that yogi is one who connects with the mysteries of life. Because even I feel that people who don't connect with the mystery of life, they end up connecting with the miseries of life. So Andreji said that one who is actually inquisitive about the mysteries of life, how life unfolds, instead of Google outside, they Google inside self. And third thing is very advanced, what Andreji said, remains in flow. There is a book, famous book called Flow. So Andreji said a yogi is one who remains in flow. Wherever, whatever he is doing, he is enjoying it. He is being there in the moment. He is in a flow. So whenever in corporate you see anybody enjoying this much, remember these words of Andreji, that he is a yogi who is being in the moment and enjoying it. So after having understood personal life, professional life, and corporate life, how does a yogi does his... Mazaji came. I have to immediately ask a question before she may go back again. Mazaji, can you listen us? Mazaji? Till she hears me again.
Hello?
My question is, yes, Majaji.
Yeah. I will switch camera. Huh? Yeah, I will
No
try like
worries,
this
no worries.
because I'm in one village.
Yes.
On my phone, it's not the best. I'm so sorry. I
No
will try
worries,
the
no
best.
worries. You be the Nirguna Brahman.
The yogi life.
Yes. You be the Nirguna Brahman. Without appearance, you speak with vibrations. So my question is, to you, Mazaji, is what is the quality of a yogi? How does a yogi lives the life?
Yes, I think this process must be natural, spontaneous. Like when I like to wake up in the morning, I will not put alarm. I will really natural wake up, and I will feel so awake in my consciousness, in my body. I will be rest. This for me, beginning of start to live like yogi, or I will start to change the food. I will not say, oh, from Friday I will be vegetarian or vegan. I will just slowly start to change my food because my body and my consciousness like this. But what the most important is that every day I feel more and more love with the people, more and more, compassion, that we are the one. We are all different, but we are the one. This moment, when it starts to grow day by day, this for me is yogi life. I
Beautiful.
start to
She
live
mentioned
yoga.
four things. Four things she mentioned, and we absolutely loved it. Being yogi is something that comes effortlessly. You actually live that, and even your food reflects it. Love for everybody and full of compassion. Now, respected guests, I want quick reflections from everybody of you. One tip for all our audience: how to lead a yogic life, how to lead a yogic way of living. A practical tip which our audience can start living from tomorrow onwards. Something just like a recipe, do it from today itself. So, how to lead a yogic life? One tip from everybody of you, which will help people to initiate in this realms of yoga, particularly for those people who are not exposed to yoga. One tip from everybody to lead a yogic life, to begin with it. So, I would begin with Yogi Andreji. Any tip for the person who is not exposed to yoga? How should he begin or she begin?
There will be three things.
Yeah, perfect.
One is be honest.
Be honest.
Live a honest day by day life. Then inquire into your mind until it becomes very clear. And last point is be kind to others.
Thank you.
Is very simple.
So 3 verbs Andreji said. Thank you very much, Andreji. It is something to be done. Thank you. Being honest, in self-inquiry, and be kind. We'll go to Mazaji because you are here, and now you are our guest of most importance because your connection is poor. So please tell us few tips, one tip, or if you want
I'm
to
Maya.
tell
I'm real Maya.
you're real Maya, yes. So the technical definition
Yes,
of Maya
I go like
the Sanskrit definition of Maya is Ya Ma Sa Maya, one which is not yet appears. Yes, please tell me. So, yes. Yeah, give us some
I can
tips
say
for the
one thing,
people.
what is really, I think the thankfulness, just in the morning when you woke up, this will the first thing what really help. It's helped to me. I hope also for everyone else, because it's really the new, new life. The new day is definitely new life. The hope that we can change something, that I can learn something more, that I can help, whatever. Just thank you for this day. And I will try the best in this day for me, for other people.
Thank you. Thank you very much. As they say, don't wait for worse to appreciate ordinary. Indeed. And the Amazaji rightly said that be thankful. If you are not grateful, you are a great fool. Thank you. So now we'll go for Amandio ji. Your tips.
You have to put your mic on.
Yeah, I agree with all the interventions that Andre and Stefan and Maya have done. But maybe I can, when I said to some people what is connected with yoga that they can do, I say that you must start maybe with Anamaya Kosha. So pay attention to what you eat and what you drink, and changing and appreciate the food and we start walking maybe better with more health, and the breath will open, and then we start why with changing the way of eating. I'm changing the way of thinking, and we know the Mahabutas and how it can work. So if someone says I would like to start with yoga, then we have the classes of yoga and understand how the asanas works with the nervous systems. I say we must agreeing with Andre and Maya and all of you, maybe what you eat. So you have Annamaya Kosha first, then Pranamaya Kosha, maybe by this way. Thank you.
Wow, wow. In such a less time, he went in so deep. He said, if you really want to start a yogic life, be observant of your Annamaya Kosha, all five senses experience, exposure that you get, what you eat, what you see, what you listen. That's amazing. Be mindful of it. Second, he mentioned also about your breathing, Pranamaya Kosha he also mentioned about Vijnanamaya Kosha, what do you think? So just be observant of your inputs from outside and the inputs that you get from within also. And once you become mindful of it, you have initiated a yogic life. That's amazing. We'll come to Dr. Stefan. Tips for our audience for a yogic life.
For me, one of the most important yoga practices is Ishvara Pranidhana. So my tip is in any situation has to be connected with the Creator, with God, and to try to find and to follow His will in any situation.
Perfect. So Dr. Stefan beautifully said that surrender to the divine will. It always reminds me of, so beautifully you mentioned a very important concept. It reminds me of Fleming's left law of motion. We remember we used to study in physics, the electricity, direction of current, when it is, then the resultant force is here. Yes. So similarly, in life also, as Dr. Stefan said, when life does not go my way, this is my way. Neither life is going highway. My mother, father, society thought that I'll be doing this. Neither life is going my way, nor it is going highway. Then the resultant force is this. Life is going thy way, and thy way is always correct. So Thank you very much, Dr. Stefan, for bringing such an important concept. So dear friends, people, audience from all parts of the world, we wanted to break this notion in this panel discussion that yoga is only about asanas. And as you could see it, that we discussed how to identify a yogi and how to lead a yogic life. Dr. Stefan said, be a mirror to yourself. See yourself, start accepting things as they are, tathata, as they say in Buddhism. No opposition, whatever you resist will persist, and apply the principles of yoga at every moment of truth, and then follow Ishwar Pranidhama, that is complete surrender to all the choiceless situations in life. That's amazing. Thank you very much. Andre Ji said, start following Yama Niyama. They are the basics. If you are not following Yama Niyama, then the yoga you are following is not Ashtangik yoga, it's Viklangic yoga. Viklang means handicapped. Nice. So Andre Ji said that if you are not following Yama Niyama, then it's not Ashtangik, it's Viklangic yoga, that's handicapped yoga. He also mentioned the importance of sadhana. And he also mentioned, be the student of life and find a guru. Listen to yourself also. Inner listening is important. He also said the importance of serving others. It makes you humble. It makes you see something beyond yourself. And then yogi is a state of being, he said. Yoga, anybody can teach yoga, but everybody who is teaching yoga is not a yogi. Yogi is a state of being. He said that it is important for yogi to connect with his own lineage. And yogi never, as I said, feels the FOMO, connected with the mysteries of life. Otherwise, you will be entrapped in the miseries of life. And a yogi is one who remains in flow. Even if he forgets oneself, once he is doing it, he is loving it so much. And for that, begin with honesty. It remains the best policy. Go for self-inquiry till it is very clear within, and be kind for everybody. Forgiveness. Amandio Ji said, be in the nature. Follow your due dharma. Arjuna wanted to run away from battlefield. Krishna said, no, it's not being yogi. Be in the battlefield of life, do your due karma, take responsibility, take reins of life in hand, and then follow 8 limbs. He again gave importance of ahimsa and satya in relationship. Be truthworthy and never hurt anybody in word, speech, or thoughts even. Accept things, support everybody, and be equipoised. Samatvam in bad and good. Be balanced, be centered. And he also said, start with Annamaya Kosha, be observant of all your 5 senses experience, what you listen, what you eat, what you hear, what you feel. That is Annamaya Kosha. And then work on your breathing, that is Pranamaya Kosha, what you feel Manomaya Kosha, and what you think Vijnanmaya Kosha. Start gradually and it will take you to Anandamaya Kosha, God willing. And Maja said that be natural. Yoga is something that naturally comes to you. Be mindful of what you eat. A yogi is full of love and compassion towards everybody. And the sutra and the key is gratefulness, thankfulness. So let me follow the sutra that Maja gave us, thankfulness, and thank you. All of everybody, whosoever are watching us from all 56 nations of the world, my humble respect and thank you for all our expert guests also to be here today. Thank you very much for your enlightening discussions, discourse, and your insights. Thank you very much. Regards.
Thank you.